Hey, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Living Deadwax podcast. I am your host, Ty, and I'm joined by my co host, Tyler. How are you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. I'm really excited for tonight.
Hell yeah. And we are joined by my eldest brother, Josh. So you've heard about Josh before on the podcast. We figured tonight was a good topic to bring him in. Metallica superfan number one. Josh Brown.
Something
Don't want
like
to hype. Don't want to hype him up or anything, but Josh has all the Metallica trivia and all that shit. So, yeah, so excited to have Josh here as well as our first guest on
That's
the
true.
Living Deadwax podcast. So.
I didn't think we were going to get him. I didn't think we were going to get him. I thought it was really hard to get him. I thought he wasn't going to answer the call. I thought we had to have to, like, you know, hopefully, like, we could tweet at him. Maybe, like, try to contact his publicist, just see if we can get lucky and just see we can snag him.
I was not booked.
I'm not booked. I need you to ref.
I'm not booked.
I need you. Come on,
Ref
just
me and
ref
Brett.
me and Brett. I'm
Ref me
not
and Brett.
booked. I see the old dogs begging for a bone.
Josh,
Alrighty.
Ty and I, every time we hang out, like every time we ever do that, we text me, "Are you booked?" And then him and I will do Dennis Stamp from Beyond the Mat. We will do that back and forth with each other every single time.
Gotta do it.
Hell yeah. But guys, let's get all the YouTube stuff out of the way. So if it's your first time in, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Make sure you subscribe. We see you out there. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment down below. We are doing Metallica ranking. We are ranking the Metallica discography, just the studio albums, all 10 studio Metallica albums. No Lulu. That's a Lou Reed album. That's not a Metallica album. So we are doing all 10 of the Metallica studio albums. We are ranking them. Tyler has it. It's probably $1 billion right now.
It is. It's at least 200.
We are doing from 10 to 1. We will do a round table here. And yeah, if you guys are into vinyl content, physical media, music, any of that type of stuff, give us some love down in the comments below. What are your favorite Metallica albums? Give us your rankings, all that good stuff. So anyways, guys, let's get into it. And we're going to do a quick round table, kind of introduce ourselves or and how we got into Metallica, one of the biggest bands in the world still today. Very polarizing, but still one of the biggest bands going. So, Josh, if you want, you are the guest here. So if you want to kick us off and kind of tell us your story about you with Metallica.
Sure, thanks. I just remember growing up as a kid, hanging out with the uncles, and Justice for All, the Black Album. And I want to give a shout out to Duran because Duran, who we used to hang out with Jimmy and stuff, he was more of a metalhead than Jimmy was. So he kind of introduced me to a lot of Metallica as well.
There you go.
And it kind of really just started from there.
Was Justice your first record, Josh?
Honestly, the Black Album was the first one I remember hearing. And then I saw Justice through my uncles.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought Injustice was their first album.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember, because you were 8 at the time when Justice came out, right? So
Right.
Do you remember the one video? Like, do you remember that on MTV or anything when you're growing
I don't
up?
remember the one video, but I definitely remember videos from the Black Album.
Yeah. Of course. They're everywhere, especially back then.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So Tyler, how about yourself?
So Metallica was always around in the osmosis of life, right? And that's how I found out about them. So I think I knew about Metallica. I've told the story before previously on other episodes. Our diehard listeners will already heard the story. But for some reason, the first time I ever heard the name Metallica, I heard it from my sister while we were on top of our roof hanging Christmas lights, I think it was, or something or other. And she was talking to a friend of hers, and a neighbor drove by, and she said, she was talking about her neighbor, and she said, that's the guy. And the girl was like, her friend was like, who are you talking about? And she said, the guy that just drove by listening to Metallica. That's the first time I ever heard the name Metallica. Never heard it before then. I was probably 6, let's say. So it's probably in the middle of load reload era, for sure. And I just, I mean, obviously, growing up listening to rock radio, you're going to hear Enter Sandman. You're going to hear basically every Black Album single. They're all going to be there. You're going to hear one every so often, but it's mostly be heavy Black Album. And then you'll get like Fuel and, that's kind of it, right? Like, for at least for like the classic rock singles and shit, you'll hear all that stuff. But I just remember hearing all that stuff, and then later in 7th grade or so, I took home my buddy's iPod and I ripped all of the songs off his iPod because he actually got the CDs from his sister's boyfriend at the time, now husband. I believe his name's Ryan. Shout out Ryan again. But I shout out. So I got all of the records digitally at that point on the computer. So that was middle school. And that was definitely the first time I had ever actually dove into the records in any real serious way. And prior to that, I think the only connection I had was the same friend, Zachary. He sent me a copy on AIM, a file of, I believe, the icon performance of Disturbed playing Fade to Black. That was the first time I ever heard Fade to Black. I never knew it was actually a Metallica song. I mean, I'm sure he told me, but I had never heard it as a Metallica song until later on when I got the iPod and I got the files or whatever from him. And that's the way I actually got the records the first time. And then throughout the years, obviously, I've bought them way too many times and everything else. So, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of similar to Josh. Like, I remember I've told the story on the podcast before. I think the first album I ever saw was And Justice for All. Like, Josh might be able to correct me on this, but I think it was either Tim or Mark had that on cassette.
Yeah, it was definitely Uncle Tim.
Okay, I remember that cassette, and I just remember that cover, and maybe been 4 or 5 or whatever, and okay, it's kind of a striking cover, I guess. And then probably the first music I remember them was Black Album videos, later, obviously, because born was a few months old when Black Album came out, but I remember Enter Sandman that got played all the time. I just remember seeing that video all the time, if you're watching MTV at any point in the 90s. And then, honestly, I remember you, Josh, buying Load and Reload, I think. Did you bought them when they came out?
Actually, I think I definitely bought Reload, but I want to say Uncle Mark bought Load and he didn't like it, so he gave it to me.
Oh, okay. Because I
Uncle Mark was an OG Load hater. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is understandable because
before it was cool. And obviously we're going to get into all that. Very polarizing band. They've had many different eras by now. They've done some of the coolest stuff in music. They've done some of the worst stuff in music and made some of the worst PR decisions ever. The Napster battle. And so, yeah, definitely an interesting band. That's an interesting topic. And I think it's kind of synonymous with people who are into rock or metal or anything. You just know who Metallica is. And yeah, I remember Load and Reload. I remember that you had that poster of that era. Do you remember that poster you had of I think it was the Reload era Metallica?
Yeah,
and it had James in the hockey jersey or whatever, the hockey Metallica jersey, wearing his own merch, like a mark.
Yeah, they had their short hair, of course.
Oh yeah. So definitely after the haircuts. But yeah, that's kind of my introduction to Metallica. So let's kick it off here with our number 10s, and we're gonna go Josh first. He's the guest. Then we'll go Tyler, and then we'll go myself. I have a hunch that we will all have the same number 10.
I have that same hunch.
So if we do have all the same number 10, we can kind of do this as a round table and bounce back and forth. If we don't have all the same numbers, I respectfully just wait till the person's done talking, and then we can kind of call that person a moron after the fact. So anyways, Josh, kick us off with your number 10.
Definitely Saint Anger. My least favorite Metallica album. It's actually my least favorite album of any genre of music.
Wow. That is heavy.
It's not a bad Metallica album. It's just a bad album in general.
That's fair. I would tend to agree. Yes. Do you want to expand on that, or are you just fuck Saint Anger? I don't want to listen to it.
We can all just start shooting on it though, because we all did the same one, so we can all just do this, right? We all did Saint Anger, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely the production, and all you hear is the drum, the snare, every song.
It's so bad.
I listened to it 3 or 4 days ago, and it's just as bad, if not worse, as I remember it.
Did you listen to it all when it came out?
One time with Dan Brooks.
Wow.
Yeah. Dan actually liked it. I remember him liking it.
Holy
He bought it
shit.
at the record store. So
That's a
Oh,
Dan
wow.
record.
yeah,
I mean, I just remember because Saint Anger was obviously the Some Kind of Monster was on the. I think Saint Anger came out and then Some Kind of Monster came out shortly thereafter. But I just remember that push because I remember that the commercials and stuff everywhere, and it was like the first Metallica album in 7 years and all that stuff, right? So like it's a huge deal. And I heard because Saint Anger was the first single, right? Am I remember this correctly?
Frantic.
Is
yeah,
Frantic
I'm
the
not sure.
first single? Oh,
I'm almost
Frantic's
positive.
in the prison, right?
Yes.
So you're right. So yeah. So Frantic and then Saint Anger.
No, Saint Anger is in the prison because he talks about I wore this. I could have ended up in here, but I'm not because I found music and all that shit during Some Kind of Monster.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think Frantic was the first single. You might be able to look that up, but just if you want to look that up here, I think it's the first single because I don't know if Josh remembers this, but I remember me, Josh, and Colin driving in Mom's old red Dodge. We were going somewhere. I want to say we were going to a show, and it might have been like 03 because that's when that record dropped, like ZZ Top. And I want to say going out to Cricket Pavilion. And we were in the truck, and I remember KUPD going, "We got the new Metallica single coming at you on KPP Rex." And I remember them dropping Frantic. And I remember all three of us kind of sitting in the truck, and even me at 12 years old, we were all like, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember that, Josh?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm
very underwhelmed.
I'm glad I'm not just like making that up in my head.
Yeah.
Tyler, did
so
you find
Saint
out
Anger was the first. Saint Anger is the first. Okay. Frantic's the second. The Unnamed Feeling is the third, and Some Kind of Monster is the fourth. I forgot that there was ever Unnamed Feeling. Thing. I didn't know that. I have no recollection of that whatsoever. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Okay. I have opinions about Saint Anger. Okay. So
go for it.
I like Some Kind of Monster. I do like it.
You ironically like that. Not the song, the movie. You're talking about the movie, right?
Well, okay, I like the movie. Well, no. I like the song, too.
Oh.
I think the song's not bad. Like, it's not my favorite by any means, but I wouldn't... It's fine. It's fine. I just think the writing on so much of that record is fucking awful. And what makes me so angry about that... Yeah, the lyrics are so awful because what I did in my brain here today, because I did more homework today, there's certain other records that are very polarizing within the fan base that are about the exact same topics and subject matter that Saint Anger is about, but they're 1,000 times better written. I just don't understand how awful those lyrics are in those songs compared to the other set of polarizing records that are, again, dealing with, unfortunately so, the exact same subject matter. It's just, James Hetfield is one of, and we'll get into later with other records, but he's, for my money, one of the best alcoholic, drug, like depressed lyric writers in the genre for sure. Maybe period. But this one, maybe it was too much for him, and he just didn't have it, and he was out of it, and he was concentrating on other things, which obviously the documentary showcases. But like, it's just a completely different way that you write lyrics than what you did previously. Stupid.
I 100% agree, and I will prove your point right now, because the first time Anna, my wife, and I watched Some Kind of Monster together was very recently, like when it got put on Netflix, maybe like last year or something. And I remember her going, "It's like they've never written music before."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, and they've been a band for 20 plus years at that point when they were shooting that. And that's what it felt like. It felt like they all hated each other at the time. And then, but you also got, I didn't look up the writing credits, and I have show and tell. Tyler has show and tells too. Josh couldn't be bothered to get his show and tell, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Thank you.
But I do not own Saint Anger. I will never own Saint Anger. I agree with Josh. It is one of my most hated records of all time. This week was the first time I've ever listened to it all the way through. I had heard the singles before. I have seen like countless videos about it. And I never wanted to listen to it, but I felt I needed to for this just to get an accurate opinion. I agree with Josh.
So
the production, go ahead.
I was gonna say the writing credits are it's to all of Metallica and Bob Rock. There's no individual songwriting credits.
Yeah, because in the documentary they're all writing lyrics. They had those big lyric sections.
That's the exercise. The first time
they ever
that was the thing. Yes.
So maybe they should not have done that. That's kind of my point. But to go back to the production on the album is so terrible. The drum sound is awful. I listen to bad sounding records. I listen to black metal that is recorded on like a Casio cassette tape deck. Okay. But this sounds awful. They are one of the biggest bands in the world. And it wasn't like, it doesn't even like, to me, it doesn't even strike me as like a stylistic choice. Like we want this to sound bad because it's weird because the way it's mixed, everything sounds together. And then you have the snare drum, which is over. And then you have the vocals, which they just sound like in a different realm. It's one of the worst mixes ever. Bob Rock is a great producer. He did the Crew records. He did a couple of the biggest cult records. Obviously, he did fucking Black Album. But this is an awful sounding record. It's one of the worst decisions ever made in history.
The Black Album is one of the best sounding records that was ever done. And these are all the same fucking people, minus Jason. It's all the same fucking people. And the fact that they were bucking what they fucked, because for their money, Load and Reload, for the most part, are fine. Like they sound. We'll get into it, but I don't have a really big issue with that production. But it's just the fact that in the documentary, which I think the documentary is 1,000 times better than the record is. I like the doc for what it is, and I like the doc in general. It's a really cool thing to see, and you can argue whether it was a positive or negative for the band, whatever, right? But I just don't understand why you all. The idea was to update the sound. But then in the documentary, Kirk goes, no, I don't want to do that with no solos because that puts it here in this period. It doesn't make it timeless. It makes it this period because they think the solos sound way too dated. And it's like, why the fuck why?
Kirk was 100% right because I've listened to all the Metallica records, some of them multiple times over this last week. Okay. And maybe Josh, you can expand on this, or Tyler, either way. I agree with Kirk 100% there because it sounds like a shitty Korn record with bad production and without Korn's talent. Like 100%. Metallica's way more, I think, better musicians than Korn, but it sounds like they were trend chasing. And for a band that gets accused of trend chasing all the time, especially in the 90s, that sounded like a record that is of 2003, and I never want to hear it again. Like it's stuck in that time, and you neutered one of your best options. Like Kirk's a great guitar player. He's got some of the most memorable solos in music, and you just took all that away. So I agree with Tyler 100% there, and he was 100% correct because that record, it sounds of 2003. And if there's anything else, Josh, if you want to add on to Saint Anger, then we can move on.
One last thing I could add on, like as bad as the songs sound on the album, certain ones do sound better live. Like there's a song, All Without My Hands. There's really good live versions of that one. Like on the second S&M album.
Oh,
it sounds
that's
really, really good. Yeah.
Interesting. Because that's the last track on the record. And I was at the gym the other night on the elliptical. And it is. I'm looking at it on Spotify right now. It's 8 minutes and 45 seconds long. And I was on the elliptical and I was like 5 minutes in and I looked at this and I'm like, I'm still fucking listening to the same fucking song.
Yeah.
There was like 4 minutes left. So that is interesting that it does sound better. I know, Tyler, you wanted to do favorite song and favorite deep cut.
Oh God.
Yeah. If you want to kick it off here and maybe try to do that, go ahead.
Okay, so I just already said it. So I don't dislike Frantic. I like Frantic for what it is. No, 100%. Absolutely. Among the worst. But I think if we tweaked a few things on for the music, I think it'd be kind of cool. if you tweaked a little bit of what the drums sound like,
No.
I think it'd be kind
It's
of
like
cool.
a child wrote that song though.
Oh, absolutely.
They're childish lyrics.
Absolutely. They're one of the dumbest written songs, and Ty and I have done back and forth my lifestyle to my death style every day of our lives for fucking 20 years. So whatever. I think that Some Kind of Monster is a kind of a cool song. I think that's my deeper cut, if you will.
The single with a movie named after it is your fucking deep cut.
Yeah. Well, I'm not doing fucking Invisible Kid. Fuck that song.
Invisible's good. Good. Sweet Amber. Come on.
Oh my god.
Good ones on here. Shoot Me Again. Shoot Me Again is the song that just ends with kill. I
like that. I like that. Keep going. I like that.
Yeah, it's so bad. Delete that. You sent me that shirt. Like that's what Lars' dad should have said for that whole fucking record. Just get rid of it. Josh,
it's funny that he knew.
Oh yeah, I mean the dude's not dumb. Yeah. He understands what sounds good and doesn't. So, Josh, what's your favorite Saint Anger track? If you had to pick one,
I'm going with all Within My Hands. It's long, but I do really enjoy the live versions.
All right, yeah. To be fair, I don't think I've ever heard that song live. So
right,
I'll go with that. I don't even know. I guess I'll just go Saint Anger. I don't know. Like I can't. I think the video is pretty cool. It's got obviously that Johnny Cash vibe because they're playing in the prison. They're playing at San Quentin. Yeah. I don't. Maybe Manson was there at the time. I know he got transferred around a little bit, but maybe Manson heard Metallica. I don't think he was out there hanging out, but I don't know what you want to talk about that.
If listen, that would have been pretty horrible, fuck Manson, whatever, right? But like the very end, you just like when they're playing it out, you just like the camera just pans in the ground, and then it goes up, and then it just shows Manson real quick, and then comes back out. You just have a little glimpse of fucking 74-year-old Charles Manson, just all bearded up and stuff. Be kind of interesting.
Cool. Yeah, that would be an artistic choice for sure. Alrighty, guys, that's our number 10. Josh, now it's a free reign. I don't know where the fuck we're going.
So we definitely agree on number 10. All right.
Obviously, yes. So number 9, what is your number 9, Josh?
I'm going with Reload.
Oh, okay. I also have Reload as number 9.
I also have Reload.
All right.
Okay.
It's just
all right. This
not a terrible album. It's just the songs that I feel like it's just the songs that didn't make the Load album. And it just kind of it is what it is. It's how I remember it. Nothing really bad to say about it. It's just definitely not my favorite songs. It starts off kind of cool with Fuel, and the album just kind of has ups and downs in my opinion.
I think it's very top heavy. I actually think Load is very top heavy too. But it's very top heavy with Fuel being one of the biggest singles they've ever had. And then Memory Remains too.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was actually really excited to get this because I never looked at these gatefolds, and I can't remember the CD. I'm assuming these are the same pictures that are in the booklet, but
I imagine it's a Load that has the makeout pictures, right?
It doesn't have the makeout pictures, but it's got like the makeup pictures and shit.
Oh, cool.
Like they're all wearing makeup and stuff. But yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. It is kind of a top heavy album. I'm over Fuel. Like it's a cool song when you're 12, but like I'm kind of over Fuel. Memory Remains. I do like that song quite a bit. Devil's Dance is fucking sick. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Devil's Dance is fucking awesome. Tank Abbott fucking entrance song.
Was that his entrance song?
That was his entrance song. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Wow. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
I like Unforgiven too as well.
It's fine.
Agreed.
I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
And then I think it kind of falls off. Like Carpe Diem Baby is an okay track. I do like Where the Wild Things Are. If I was picking a deep cut, that would probably be my deep cut. I
would tend to agree with that.
Where the Wild Things Are?
Yeah.
Okay. Low Man's Lyric is a cool ballady type song. But yeah, it just comes in at number 9 for me. Like It's not awful, but it's not. I don't hate it as much as other people. But we'll talk about kind of the band's transition later when we get into those albums. But yeah, I don't hate it. I just don't like it. There's more that I ranked.
Kind of just is
like,
what it is.
There's literally I like Devil's Dance. That's my favorite song, and I would listen to that one. But the other songs, like, I'll listen to them if they come on. I'm just not gonna put them on. So
yeah, I think Fuel is one of the dumbest songs the band has ever written. Like, I've always thought that. I thought that as a child. Like, I remember thinking it was badass because it was on Speed Vision on ESPN. That was the song they put on there way back when I was a kid. And so I remember hearing that song, I guess, shortly after it came out, whatever, right? And they put it on there. But like, it's one of the worst. The video is fucking god awful. It's one of the worst songs ever. It's awful lyrics. Fuck those lyrics. Like, it's fun. I'm not saying it's not fun. It's a fun song. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a dumb, stupid song about cars. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And as a car kid that grew up in that culture, like drag racing, I always liked the video. But this is...
Yeah, the video is cool.
Yeah.
Cars flipping and shit.
That's Reload. I'm surprised we all had number 9, the same thing. So I was expecting this to get different. But it's not. All Josh, right. What would you say your favorite track is? I chose Devil's Dance.
Definitely Devil's Dance or Carpe Diem.
Okay, good job.
I really like Memory Remains, and I've told you that before. I really do like Memory Remains. I think that song's sick.
But your like of that song couldn't notch it up just like a couple more levels. You got to put it at number 9.
Yeah, because that's it.
Okay,
that's
that's literally it.
Dude, there's not like
Devil's Dance.
I like Devil's Dance. Okay, there's the thing. It's not it, but like there's very limited songs here. The other records that are in front of this right now for me, and I guess for all of us, there's a handful more songs on better songs than what is on Reload.
Okay, I got you.
Personally,
I won't hold it against you. We didn't talk about the same. I think we didn't talk about album covers too. We might as well because we're a physical media show, sorta. I like the Saint Anger album cover. I think it's a cool album cover. It's just very simple with the fist. I don't know how you guys feel about it if you want to expand on that. But what do you guys feel about the Reload cover? I mean, it's just kind of there.
Yeah, it's I mean, I didn't actually know what the fuck it was until I think you told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I also didn't know what the Load cover was either until you told me.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know either one of these. Yeah. The Saint Anger one, it's fine. It just seems like when I look at the other, because I think Metallica have some of the best covers in the genre, like for sure in the genre, but in music, I think that's some of the best covers. I think Saint Anger is a little bit of the least inspired one. Sure. It's just the fist that's tied up. Like it's for me, for anybody that wants the reference point. For me, it doesn't seem very Metallica-y to me personally, but
okay.
Maybe other people might disagree, but yeah.
Gotcha. Alrighty, guys. Any other last words on Reload before we get on number 8? And hopefully this changes up and gets more controversial.
It'll get controversial.
No? Okay. All right. So Josh, kick us off with your number 8.
Going with Death Magnetic.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, that's also mine as well. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're in simpatico or whatever. So.
You guys can shoot on Death Magnetic then.
I do remember liking this album quite a bit when it came out, especially because this is the one that came out after Saint Anger, so it was kind of a breath of fresh air, like good Metallica songs again. And it does hold a place in my heart because we saw this album. This was the album that came out around Big 4, right? So we would have heard these songs live.
Yeah. Well, 08. Yeah. So yeah, we saw it in 2011. So yeah, it was the most recent record. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, mine's Death Magnetic. Tyler, I'm assuming you have a different one, so we'll get to you after me, I guess. Yeah, I am with Josh. I really enjoyed Death Magnetic when it came out. It's one of the few I don't own yet. It's coming. I got the Walmart version coming. It's just taking forever from Discogs. I really enjoyed it when it came out. It's Tyler's and I. That's our only Metallica record in high school. It was 2008. So I remember when that record dropped. I remember buying it. I remember working at Target, getting it, when it came in, buying it right away. So I just remember being really stoked. Oh, new Metallica. And like Josh said, it was kind of a return to form. I remember The Day That Never Comes. I remember that video, and Tyler, you probably do too, when it dropped on Fuse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool video. Metallica always does pretty cool videos unless it's Fuel, according to Tyler. But I did enjoy that song when it came out and was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like it. And then All Nightmare Long, that was like one of the other singles. I really like that one too. I re-listened to it obviously this week, and I absolutely did not like it nearly as much as I used to. I thought this was going to be really in the top half for me originally, and it fell off quite hard. I don't like the production on the record. Again, it's very muddy. It's like a Saint Anger production. The drums sound light years better, but it's like a Saint Anger production. Everything is very muddy. I mean, I don't know how much Rick really did on this, Rick Rubin, but if he did, if either him or the mixing engineer, it sounds like they just took all the sliders and moved them all the way up to the top. And they're like, okay, we're done. And then again, you just kind of have all the instruments here in this level all really muddied. There's no dynamics at all. And then you just kind of have Hetfield over the top. So obviously this is the first record with Rob too. And I don't really feel like they really use him that much. Like, to me, he's a very different style of bass player coming from Suicidal and some of the other shit, playing with Ozzy and Cantrell. And so it doesn't sound like they very much like utilize his abilities until the record after this. But yeah, that's it. That's my number 8 is Death Magnetic. I really liked it when it came out, and it just fell off. And honestly, the album cover, it's fine. I remember the Digipack CD had like a die cut with the coffin going in, so that was really cool. Like that's what I had.
That was a super.
Don't
cool,
mean to
that was a
interrupt
cool
you.
effect they did.
You said Jerry Cantrell, so you reminded me of something. The
yeah.
name actually, Death Magnetic, is a tribute to Lane Staley.
It is. You are correct.
Yeah.
So
So
I never knew that.
Was cool. Yeah.
There you go. Josh bringing out the trivia. I told you. Told you, Benny.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah. So that's my number 8. Josh, do you have a favorite song on there?
Probably Unforgiven 3.
Wow.
And the Day That Never Comes.
I fucking hate Unforgiven 3. I'm sorry, Josh.
That's another good. If you hear live versions of that, it sounds really good live too.
All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, bro. But it's like,
listen to that second S&M album. There's a bunch of newer songs on there that just sound good live.
Yeah, that one like just came out too, right?
Well, like last year, I think.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it. Yeah.
You've referenced that a few times now, Josh, so far. Are you a big fan of S&M 2 or the S&M records in general that they did?
Definitely the first one. I haven't listened to the second one that much yet, but the few songs I heard on the second one I like a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the first one too. I mean, I remember when that came out vividly because I remember you buying it, and I think you had like the VHS of it too.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that. That was probably like one of my earlier Metallica memories too. So, I fucking hate Unforgiven 3. It's a useless song. It goes nowhere. Nobody asked for it. Like we barely needed Unforgiven
right about
2.
That. Yeah.
So like I don't need Unforgiven 3. And to be honest with you, I haven't read the lyrics and know like the concept enough to know like how it flows. It might be really poetic and fucking thoughtful. I don't know. My favorite song, I'm gonna have to go with All Nightmare Long. I think it's probably one of the heaviest songs on the record. Definitely cool. Been used in cool WWE packages too, so I'll give them that.
Oh yeah.
The WWE's favorite band now. So Tyler.
Sorry, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, WWE's favorite band.
Oh my god.
Tyler, what is your number 8? I'm curious.
So my 8, I think my 8 is your 7s, I would assume. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything like that by any means. But I put Load on there. So I truthfully have not listened to Load and Reload that extensively beyond like my initial listenings, and then just by fucking just living life, you've heard a handful of those songs quite a few times, right? So for my money, this is when Metallica started writing cool songs, and they're fucking awful. Ain't My Bitch is fucking stupid. That's real dumb. 2x4 is one of the coolest sounding songs. I love the groove to 2x4. Fucking hate the lyrics. Real fucking stupid. House That Jack Built is actually legitimately really good. I like the song a lot. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. This one has more of the pictures. Like, look at them there.
Yeah.
It says more of like the weirdo pictures in it.
Yeah.
So.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, House That Jack Built is fucking cool. I like that song a lot. I never actually put 2 and 2 together before I did the deep dive of like that's about Jack Daniels, and like I knew it was about drinking and shit, but I never did the House That Jack Built. Never did that, right?
Sure.
So like I said before, James Hetfield, a lot of these songs on these records are about him attempting sobriety for the first time and facing like, hey, I have a problem. So I need to like kind of address that and like kind of figure out what I'm going to do with it. So like it's him facing it. And it's also a lot of it's about his mother having cancer and dealing with that and him watching her die when he was 16 years old, right? So like House of Jackman's cool. Until It Sleeps also very cool. King Nothing's cool. I don't like Hero of the Day personally. It's not one for me. Bleeding Me's fine. It's whatever. I think Cure kind of sucks. Poor Twisted Me sucks. Wasting My Hate fucking sucks.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to know the story about Wasting My Hate real quick? I just learned this.
Oh, sure.
So Wasting My Hate is Waylon Jennings and I guess and Hetfield were close friends. It says whatever, that's the story, right? I don't know, whatever, right? So Waylon was at a truck stop and he was at a booth and he looked outside in the window and there was a guy in a car outside the window staring at him. And then he noticed it and then he like looked away and then he looked back and he was still staring at him. And he was staring for like really intensely, right? And so Waylon went and stared right back at him and was like, "Fuck you," kind of like stares, right? So eventually Waylon was like, "Why the fuck are you staring at me?" And he got pissed and he went outside and he realized the guy was asleep. And he was just looking with his eyes closed, sleeping with his eyes closed. That's what he was happening, right? So like he said, I was wasting my hate on this guy. So that was that's the origin of that track and whatever. And James liked that line. Gotcha. So whatever. Anyway,
sure,
whatever. But Mama Said sucks to me too. Ooh. Mama Said's the country song too, right?
Yeah, it's a ballady country-ish.
Yeah. I don't care for that. Thorn Within, just realized I asked Ty about this earlier. Thorn Within, I do like Thorn Within. I realized why I like it. It's because it has a fucking Danzig ripoff riff in there. From
Twist of Cain.
There you go.
It's the beginning. The beginning riffs are basically almost exactly the same.
Exactly. I mean, and that was driving me crazy while I was listening. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I asked Ty.
I mean, they're big. I don't know if they did it consciously or what, but they're big. I mean, they're big Danzig Misfits fans.
Yeah,
so, well, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, Josh. We want to say something?
No, go ahead. Yeah. What's your favorite song, Tyler? If you want to pick one.
So favorite song off there, I think. So reading up again today, did all the load deep live. So I think that Until It Sleeps. It's all about James's mother dying of cancer. I like that a lot. I like that song a lot. I like House of Jack Built. It's between those two for my favorite, Until It Sleeps was a single. But yeah. I think my favorite musical is fucking 2x4. 2x4 sounds fucking awesome. That's a cool
very Southern
groove.
Rocky. Yeah.
Exactly. Very cool, just groovy kind of shit. Like it's not Pantera groovy, but it's fucking groovy. I like that a lot. I think that might be my favorite musical number on there. But I think House of Jack Built and Until It Sleeps are my two favorite lyrical songs.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Definitely not my number. That was your number 8, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not my number 7. So
okay.
Josh, if you want, do you have anything? And you're going to talk about that later. So what's your number 7?
My number 7 is actually Load.
Okay, so it was your number 7 then. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead and talk about this fucking masterpiece. Load with blood and semen. We can not mix together, but this is literally mixed together.
I kind of just appreciate it for the nostalgia, like the kid in me, like my uncle giving me the album and. Just the kid in me.
So it's the nostalgia that still grabs you.
Exactly, yeah.
And it obviously doesn't grab you that much because you got it in the bottom half.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. What's your favorite song on there? If you had to pick one.
Probably Outlaw Torn or Bleeding Me.
Okay. Yeah, Outlaw Torn's a badass song. That's the last song on it. That's a cool song. Bleeding Me is a cool track too. I like Bleeding Me. Yeah. Anything else either of you want to add on to load while you guys still have the opportunity?
So I think also Ronnie fucking sucks too. It's a fucking stupid.
All right.
Fuck that song.
We get it, Tyler. You're not fucking load.
But the Outlaw Torn, I didn't know this. So the Outlaw Torn, it's the longest Metallica song. Period.
It's like
so
yeah.
So they actually did the fade out, and they did the fade out because they were 30 seconds over what the CD could take at the time, and the label went to the band and was like, "Hey, you're over. Like the shit's gonna start skipping. We can't have that." And so they had to do the fade out instead of just actually ending the song. That's why the single is 30 seconds longer, I guess, and that's the true version of the song. Again, things I didn't know until today. So there you go.
Interesting.
There's your Outlaw Torn fucking trivia.
Interesting. So that was Josh's 7. Trying to keep track of everything. I should be there. So Tyler, what is your number 7?
So for me, I'm going Death Magnetic for me. So I will echo a lot of what you guys said. So this is my first, I'll say it, it's my first Metallica record as a Metallica fan. Like when Saint Anger came out, like I was a fan or whatever. Like, I didn't know anything. Like I was very, 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 hands off for most of that era. And so got into it obviously through middle school and then high school and stuff, right? But so Death Magnetic for me, I think was, everybody, like I said, I'm gonna echo what you guys just said. But it's like a return to form. Like I like most of those songs. All the singles for me, for my money, I liked all the singles. The videos were really cool because they put a lot of money in the videos and the presentation and stuff. Like you said, I don't know how much Rick Rubin did on the record. I know that historically it's one of the worst sounding, like if you're getting technical and whatever the fuck, it's one of the worst sounding records that, there you go. Since nobody has it, good call. It's one of the worst sounding records they ever did. And then the next thing you talk about is like, well, you got to get the Guitar Hero or the Rock Band tracks. Those are the ones that are uncompressed and the whatever, right? That's the whole deal.
Which is interesting.
But yeah, very interesting, and very weird to think like that. But I like Cyanide. I like Day That Never Comes. All Nightmare Long. I like that song too. And That Was Just Your Life. I also like that song as well. My favorite on the record, I think, is All Nightmare Long. If I had to say that. Yeah. So I would tend to agree with that. I think Unforgiven 3 also is dog shit.
Great.
And maybe That Was Just Your Life. Maybe that's. Yeah, I gotta dive into the fucking trilogy until the new one comes out, right? Or wait, there's they already listed track listing. Never mind, it's not real.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, I think Cyanide's kind of cool though too. I like Cyanide as well.
Yeah, Cyanide's all right. I don't like the cyanide, living death inside. Like I don't know. I don't like when they obviously rhyme shit. Like I don't know.
That starts with the Load and Reload records though. I noticed that listing today that Hetfield get like for certain songs, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but he gets that. That's the thing he starts doing with the lyrics, and he starts just doing the rhymey, like sing-songy, rhymey thing. He does that for a lot of the songs for both the Load and Reload eras, and then also here on Death Magnetic, he just starts doing that. For different stuff. That's just the way he writes lyrics, I guess.
I guess I got to re-listen to it again because I didn't notice that in a lot on Load, especially. And Reload, but I definitely noticed it on newer Metallica, but that.
Also on Hardwired, you're right. Also on Hardwired,
yeah, for sure. So that was. Let's go back to this puppy. That was Tyler's. What was that yours? That was your 7, right?
That was my. 7. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep track of everything. So because now
I got them all listed here.
I do too. But now we're all getting to, I got mine written down, but now we're getting into different stuff. So I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
That's fair.
So my number 7 is going to be 2016.
All right.
Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I'll admit, I recently just listened to this album all the way through for the first time this week. I had heard the singles before, and I was just like, okay, cool. Some of them sound all right. But I just never dove into it. I do admit I really like this record. So maybe it's just the fact that I haven't had a ton of time with it. This is just a regular black version. Nothing too crazy on this. Absolutely dog shit cover. This is the worst cover they've ever done. It's absolutely
I
awful.
I agree with that one. Yeah.
Tyler?
I still think Saying is the fucking worst. Because at least like
Saying
there's
like
some
inoffensive though. The
yeah,
record
there's
is offensive.
something there's some sort of like a I don't know what a theme, but like that means something. Saint Anger's that fuck fist that's tied up. Fuck it.
All right.
Like
Okay. All right.
I don't. We've talked this before. Like I don't know if Pusshead or the fuck they want to do more covers. If he doesn't want to do more covers for Metallica or whatever. But like
Yeah.
they've gotten weirder and weirder as time's gone on, obviously. But I don't. That to me is not the worst. It's second worst maybe, but not the worst.
Okay. I do dig the production on this record. It's a pretty clean sounding record. Way more clean sounding than Death Magnetic or Saint Anger.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually hear instruments. I do like that there is audible bass in most of the songs. So it's like they're finally letting Rob play a little bit. Honestly, I think my favorite track on here is Dream No More. I really dig that song. I had to look up the vocals because I don't know if they're doing a vocal effect or the way they're layering the vocals. It sounded like somebody was singing with James. And I was like, is there a guest on this song that I have no idea about? And I couldn't find anybody credited. So it just must be the way they're layering the vocals, or like Rob's doing some backing vocals, or Kirk. I have no idea. But I really dig that song a lot. Halo on Fire, also a really cool song. Kind of has like that epic Metallica vibe to it. I want to say it's like 7 or 8 minutes long, and it has that epic kind of intro and bounces around. Really cool Kirk solo in that as well. Moth in the Flame, Hardwired, the title track's really cool. Shortest track, but it's a fun song. Atlas Rise is one. And Spit Out the Bones, a cool one too. So I really enjoy most of this record, honestly. And yeah, I dig the production on it. I think some of these they might be touching up James's vocals, but he sounds fucking amazing on this. So I'll give them that for sure. And I think they're hitting on all cylinders, man. I think if the next record is more in this vein, I think I'll dig it. So I'm definitely happy with this, and I'm glad I finally listened to this record because I hadn't listened to it before. So yeah, that is my number 7, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Absolutely hate the album cover, but the album itself pretty solid. And Dream No More, that's my favorite song on it, and I think that was the last single, I think, and there is a video for it. So kind of a deepish cut, I guess. But so yeah, that's my number 7. So Josh, we are on to number 6.
Number
correct?
6, yeah. Number 6 is the album you just mentioned, Hardwired, basically for all the same reasons.
Okay.
I listened to it again recently, and it's pretty damn good, and like lots of good tracks front to back. I do like Murder One. I believe that's a tribute to Lemmy. The song Murder One.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but that's cool. Ooh. Yeah, I think that's later in the album.
I agree with the production. It just sounds cleaner. It kind of gets you excited for the new album.
No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I hope they keep going in the same vein, because like I said, I hadn't listened to it, and then when I did listen to it, I'm like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking solid. So
exactly, yeah.
So you're going with Murder One as your favorite song?
Moth to the Flame and Murder One.
Okay. Yeah, good choices, man. I don't think there's really a bad choice on this album, honestly.
No.
There's nothing offensive on it. Like, there's not a song on the record where you're like, what the fuck? Like, what?
No.
Like, what did you do? Right. Like, every other song, like, every other record kind of has that a little bit, like, at least a little bit. Like, you didn't really have to do this. But so I guess my 6th is also Hardwired. So,
okay.
Boom, got the Hardwired. And then I got, for mine, I have the web store exclusive on green.
That's an interesting choice.
It just looks black, right? But I swear it's.
I can kind of see a faint there. It's kind of that's an interesting choice for the web stores. Oh, there it is. There it is. Dang.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's cool.
Because there's nothing green about that album cover. So,
isn't the top of James's head green? Is that not true? Am I lying to you?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I guess his face is green. Okay. Yeah, I got this and I jumped on it super quick. I got super, super, super lucky. And I found this, I think I called out this day and then it went online. And I think I was just online early. and they put it up, and I bought it. But this is the era where I got lucky for back-to-back Metallica releases on their web store, and then never again. And I didn't get the 72 Seasons. I also didn't get lucky with that one. So fuck you all. But I'd echo a lot of what you guys just said. Like, there's not anything offensive on the record. It sounds really clean. The production is just it's top tier. It's what you would think. It's what you think one of the biggest bands in the world should sound like. Like there's everything. Just you hear every instrument. It all flows together very nicely. It's very nice packaging, physically and in the music as well. I think for my money, I think Atlas Rise and Moths into Flames might be my two favorite songs. And then I don't know. I think Halo on Fire might be a lesser deal for me. That's not a single, is it? Was that a single?
I don't know. Yeah, it's got 29 million plays. So
there you go. So 29 million people can't be wrong. But I think that might work its way into being my deeper cut big song. But yeah, I really like Hardwired. Like I said, just nothing offensive. It's a cool record. I obviously none of us thought, or never us put it in our top 5 for any of the classic Metallica records, but it's pretty cool that it's the best new Metallica record. That's kind of cool for it. So there you go.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah, like if you're taking out, well,
like
I mean,
Saint Anger, Death Magnetic, and Post Black album.
Post Black, yeah, Post Black, like that's because this is the new term.
I have one ranked higher.
Yeah,
so
yeah, fair. But for me and Josh, okay, for us fucking, good guys,
the true,
it's the true fans, exactly, fucking posers over here. But yeah, so I think that works out for it. Like it's the best new record for my money. I guess it's Josh's money too, which is kind of cool.
Does that web store exclusive have any bonus tracks on there, or no?
No, I don't think there's anything.
Reason I'm asking because the deluxe edition on Spotify, I'm looking at it right now on disc 3. They have Lords of Summer on there, which I remember that song. But the second track is a Ronnie Rising medley, and it's all rainbow tracks. And I
saw that on Spotify. I didn't listen to it though.
I want to listen to that now because I didn't know they did that. So
very cool.
That is cool. Yeah, they're doing a medley of 4 rainbow Ronnie James Dio era rainbow songs. So very interesting because Metallica always has good choice of covers. We're not ranking.
And I believe they're on that Dio tribute album, aren't they?
I don't know.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I mean, I don't.
There's a Dio tribute album with like that Stone Sour cover, like a bunch of other bands, but Metallica was involved in that too.
Oh, okay. No, that's very cool.
I have to look up what song they did.
Definitely, yeah, because they always have good choice of covers. I feel like they do a good job. We're not ranking Garage Days or Garage Inc. or whatever. Garage Days Revisited, but yeah, they always have good choice in covers. I think we can all agree on that tonight.
They did. Hold up. So what you're talking about has the Ronnie medley on there. Do you want me to tell you what 4 songs there are, Ty?
I am looking at them right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. A Light in the Black, Terror Woman, Stargazer, and Kill the King.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean those are the tracks you're gonna do. So Stargazer would be an interesting song to do because that vocal is very fucking powerful on there. So good luck, James. Anyways, let's get on to my number 6. So let's adjust that. And here we go. Here's where things get interesting, boys and girls. Mostly boys.
Every boy.
I want to deviate a little bit here. I'm gonna go 1983. Kill 'Em All.
Wow.
Okay.
My number 6. I've never really been a Kill 'Em All guy. To me, I understand the importance of the genre. I'm a big metalhead. I'm a big thrash fan. I understand the importance of the genre. I appreciate Slayer's debut way more. It only came out a few months later. I even appreciate Bonded by Blood, which came out a couple years later. So I understand what Metallica was doing for Exodus, but I even appreciate Bonded by Blood and more. So like those formative years of the genre. I think Kill 'Em All is an interesting record because I think it gets really good and fucking sick album cover. by the way. I'll definitely give it that. Way better than Metal Up Your Ass, by the way, too. If they actually titled it that, which is what they wanted to title it that would be awful. They probably wouldn't be the same fucking band, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, is when the record really starts. Now that's very fucking controversial.
Wow.
Because you have Hit the Lights, you have Four Horsemen, Motor Breath, and Jump in the Fire, which are cool tunes. I don't need to hear those songs again. I don't need to hear any of those songs ever again.
Okay.
They're played out. Let me speak. But I think honestly, Pulling Teeth, that's a great instrumental. Obviously, you got Cliff on there. And then Whiplash is a fucking killer song. Phantom Lord is one of my favorite songs on the album, and that goes for Deep Cut too, I guess. No Remorse, cool song. Seek and Destroy is a classic, obviously. Shout out to the Stinger. And then Metal Militia is a cool song too. Got the guys on the back looking great.
Hell yeah.
So I appreciate this record for what it's worth. I'm just going to make it known. Wearing my Megadeth shirt.
Wow.
Instances are known, and there's a lot of Dave riffs on this record.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah,
Mechanics versus Four Horsemen. Where you at?
I mean, Mechanics probably, honestly. But like I said, I think the record starts honestly after Jump in the Fire. Like that's when I want to start listening to it. So might be a controversial choice, but that's my number 6, Kill 'Em All. And I thought it was going to rank higher, but on repeated listenings, I'm like, yeah, I still like it, but like I don't know. I guess I'm doing it wrong because I'm ranking it against like Show No Mercy, Slayer's debut, and I think Slayer blows it out of the fucking water. But that's just me.
Oh wow.
So, there we go.
So is it Josh or me?
We are back around. So we're at number 5. We're in the top half, boys.
Okay. So Joshua, go.
All right. So I'm kind of on the same page as Ty. My number 5 is Kill 'Em All.
Oh wow.
Samesy, 5, Kill 'Em All. Thank you. Yes.
Oh wow.
My obviously it's a great album. It's just not the best debut album. Like especially if you want to compare it to the other thrash bands there at the time.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't many.
Yes.
There's Slayer, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
As Ty mentioned, I enjoy the Dave Mustaine influences on there. Phantom Lord's definitely one of my favorite songs. Metal Militia. Hit the Lights is obviously good.
Yeah, it's classic.
But Ty pretty much just touched on it all. Basically said what I was going to say about it.
Yeah. I think so. I looked at it. So I not that I disagree with entirely Ty. Obviously, we're not on completely different wavelengths here.
Not
but
6 and 5.
holding it. Yeah. So, but like you're kind of holding against or holding like you don't need to hear those songs again. I get that. But at the same time, like you got to like contextualize it in the time. Like if you heard it for the first time, maybe, and heard it and put it up against other stuff, maybe it'd be a different deal. I don't know. I don't know your brain cells, but like I tried to take out, because obviously we've all fucking heard a handful of these fucking songs way too many fucking times for all these records, right? Sure. Like I've heard Seek and Destroy a million fucking times. And you know what? I could hear a million more. I fucking love that song. But but no. So I've heard that fucking song a million times, right? But it's still fun to me. Like I still think all the songs are fun and it works out. I enjoy the record. I like the record in terms of the history of it, because I know it's what started the thrash, and like it started like, oh shit, that's what they're fucking doing. We need to start fucking doing that shit. Like maybe that's, we can need to kind of figure out what we're doing and go there. Like especially with Anthrax, that's their whole story, is they fucking were in New York with them when they're cutting it, and that's where they went with it, right? So like for me, I respect what you're saying. Like I like Anesthesia 2. That's fucking. I also didn't know the story behind that. Is that was what Cliff always played solo with his first band Trauma. Didn't know that. Didn't know that he did that every fucking night with Trauma. And the first night that they saw him, James and Lars saw him. They were like, that's cool. And then they realized, oh, it's a fucking bass. And they were fucking marking out because it's a bass. And they're like, what the fuck? Oh, and then they put it on the record, which is, cool as shit. But like, I love that. I love, I think Hit the Lights is really cool. I think my only beef, if I have a beef with the record, is the production, because they had fucking no money. So it's among the worst sounding records they ever did, which I get why. They had no money, it cost no money, whatever. But I don't know. People can argue that adds to its charm, maybe, or like, oh shit, like it's a really messy fucking,
it's not thing. Offensive though. Like saying
no, you're right.
It's absolutely not. Between, like that bad production.
No, because
and like
your brain does the math with they spent $14,000 period on this record, and they spent $2.5 fucking million on this record. So like your brain can kind of do that a little bit. Yeah. And then you're also right. There's, you can think about that. For my money, if I'm putting favorite songs on here, I still love Whiplash. I fucking still love Whiplash so fucking much. It's one of my favorites. I think Four Horsemen's still fucking really killer. And ever since I heard fucking Dave Mustaine tell the fucking Sweet Home Alabama story, I can't not fucking hear that instantaneously. That's all I hear when I listen to it now. It's all I hear is the fucking riff.
I don't think I've heard that story.
Dave Mustaine said he was fucking around they were practicing, and he was playing Sweet Home Alabama. And then he just kept speeding it up. And then James was like, I think maybe James or Lars are like, that's fucking cool. I like that. And then the way that Mustaine tells it, he goes, "You fucking retard. It's fucking, it's fucking Sweet Home Alabama." Like that's the way he tells it. Like they don't fucking know, but whatever, right? But that's the way he tells it at least. That's whatever. I like Four Horsemen a lot. I think I'm with you with Mechanics. I'm also, I think I'd probably go there too. I think No Remorse is really fucking cool. I like that song as well. So that's my Kill 'Em All bit.
So what's your favorite there? Did you give a favorite? Whiplash?
I think favorite is Whiplash. Yeah, Whiplash is gonna be my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good choice. Great album cover too. All right, so we are in the nitty gritty here. So that was your guys's 5, correct?
Yes.
Correct. All right. Yep. So that was my 6. So let's get to my 5. Honestly, these two records, 6 and 5, could have swapped around. But I don't know. I have more of a nostalgic pull, I guess, to number 5. So here we go. Let's go with 1988 and Justice for All.
Wow. Okay.
There you go. Classic album cover. I hate the production on this fucking record. It's pretty fucking awful. Also, Metallica is not a prog band. They're not very good. This is gonna sound like against everything like I just said about certain songs. But on the whole, they're not very good at writing long songs. They have some classic fucking epic songs, but I would say they have more misses than hits. Let's just put it that way. Just because something is long doesn't make it progressive at all. And I understand it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's a very true statement.
I guess I never thought that it'd be said, but okay, I get it.
And one of my favorite bands of all time. Well, that's the Iron Maiden thing. One of my favorite bands of all time. Their last 20 years of records is just long songs that go on and on and on. And they do different things in them, but you're not a prog band, Steve. No matter how much you appreciate 70s prog, you aren't a prog band. But anyway, that's the Maiden rant for this episode. I enjoy this record. It squeaks into the top 5 because of my nostalgic pull to the record. I hate the production. I hate that there's no fucking bass. I think it's one of the dumbest fucking things they've done as a band outside of Saint Anger to get this guy in the band and be like, no, we're going to play a fucking rib on you and we're going to mix you out of the album. Makes absolutely zero sense as like a business.
Hurting yourself.
Yes, exactly. 100%. Obviously there's a ton of classic tracks on here, Blackened and Justice for All. I mean, the whole album's solid from top to bottom. However, like the production is a knock against it for me. That's why I couldn't rank it any higher. I absolutely love One. I know it's played out. I still think the song's cool. The video is cool with all the extended stuff when they actually add the movie in as well. And they bought the rights to the movie, which is crazy to make the video, which is just awesome. If I had to pick a song as my favorite, I would probably pick One, I guess. The Frayed Ends of Sanity is a cool track too. But like the production on the record, and I understand what they're trying to do. They were trying to just get proggier and heavier, but like sometimes you have to self-edit. And I think, and that's what they need to understand too, as they get older and you become the biggest band in the world, is nobody, and this goes for Iron Maiden as well, nobody has the balls to tell you, hey, Steve, or hey, Lars, why don't you cut 2 minutes out of that fucking track? And I think that's what kind of needed to happen here and on newer Metallica albums as well. So that's my number 5, and Justice for All.
Wow.
So we are up to top 4. So Josh, what's your number 4?
My number 4 would be Injustice for All.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what you got?
Obviously nostalgic for me. Like we said before, seeing this tape like from our uncles as a kid and when I was a kid, and I mean, you kind of just touched on everything. I the Beholder would be one of my favorite songs. Freight into Insanity. Obviously the one video is cool.
Classic.
And I will agree with that. There are some songs on here that are too long. There's that one song that's almost 9 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the songs are over like 6. I think the short song on there's like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they were definitely pushing that boundary of prog and trying to do that thing. But some people are prog bands and some people aren't. You know, Rush can write a 21-minute song. Those guys are talented enough to do it to where you listen to the whole song and you're like, damn, this is really fucking good. Metallica, great band, talented musicians, but like sometimes you can't pull that shit off. And honestly, I think if the production was better on the record, it would have ranked higher for me. That's it. And this used to be my favorite Metallica record of all time. And like over the last 10 years, I've dropped it way down as I've gotten.
Yeah.
I've never heard you say that.
I may not have said that to you, but I've said that to Josh. I've said that to Colin before.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Love it. So, Josh, anything else to add to your number 4 and Justice for All?
You kind of said it. You kind of said it best there. You used to be my favorite Metallica album of all time. Listened to it countless times, and like you just kind of just grew out of it a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Tyler, what's your number 4?
All right. So, for my number 4, I guess I'm the one breaking the cycle here because apparently y'all are on a better wavelength than I'm on. But
maybe.
So for my money, I love this record. Obviously, all these records at this point you love. I love all these records. Yeah, goes without saying. For me, I'm going Black Album. So I love the Black Album. I never hated the Black Album. Even when I was a dumb kid and like wanted to be edgy or some shit, never bought into that fucking hate for it ever. It was my first like record that I really actually got to know from Metallica. That's the most accessible, obviously. Like there's fucking 5 singles from there. It sold 40 or 50 million copies and will continue to sell millions of copies for all eternity and until our kids' kids, right? So for my money, it's the best sounding Metallica record. It's one of the best sounding records of all time, like I said before. Every song it hit, like there's not a bad song on the record. Like for me, like I think like I don't know, like if I had to fucking pick, like I don't actually care for Don't Tread on Me that much. Like I don't actually care for it that much. Like I don't hate the song. I don't, because like if you go away from the 5 singles or whatever, like the next one for me would be Don't Tread on Me. But wait, wasn't Don't Tread on Me a single? Am I lying to you?
I'm almost positive. I can look it up. Keep
shit. Yeah. So I love every song on the record, top to bottom, fucking awesome. It's hard to pick one that I don't really like, but I guess I would pick Don't Tread on Me a little bit. But
it's not a single.
What? Not a single. Okay, cool.
It's not.
I think there was a conversation about the record. They wanted to lead with Don't Tread on Me. I could be fucking lying to you.
Okay.
And they and Lars or James are like, no, I think we should fucking lead with Sandman. Because Sandman was the first single. Am I lying to you?
Yeah, Sandman was the first single. Yes.
Okay. So I think the conversation was the label wanted Don't Tread on Me, and the guys wanted Sandman, and it could have been a conversation with Bob Rock too. I don't remember. There was a conversation anyway. But regardless, they fucking picked the right choice. And
you're kind of mostly right, I guess. There's probably
Okay.
more on this. You probably are right. But the song "Don't Tread on Me" was also issued to rock radio shortly after the album's release, but did not receive a commercial single release.
Okay.
So
interesting.
For whatever reason,
guess.
I didn't.
Yeah. For my money, because like I said, it's the most successful record there is. So like your sister bought this record, like it's just everywhere. Your sister, your mom, your aunt, your uncle, everybody. For my money, I've said it for years. I think wherever I may roam, that might be top 2 favorite Metallica songs of all time. Fucking love the way it sounds. Fucking love the production. Fucking love the guitar in that fucking song. I love the lyrics in that song. I love James's vocals and his vocal inflections in that song are just fucking awesome. I love the choice they make with his growls and shit. I fucking love it. Love that shit to death. It's always fucking hits for me. I don't change the channel for any of these songs at this point. I've heard them a trillion times. But yeah, for me, just top 4, obviously.
Gotcha.
And there you go. Love Black Album, and deserves all the hype.
Yeah, and I even appreciate the album cover. Like it's just kind of obviously it's the Black Album, but like it's kind of I can't picture it any other way. So they're synonymous together. So and it's not even the Black Album; it's the self-titled. But even the band just calls it the Black Album now. So
yeah,
I just find that funny. So wherever I may roam, that was your top track on there.
That's my number one song. I think, like for me personally, I think if I'm going a little deeper, I think God That Failed is a fucking sick song for a deeper favorite.
Yeah, very cool fucking song.
Yeah.
All right. So we are on to my number 4 now. So I'm gonna bring the hot takes tonight because it's really nobody else did. So I'm gonna bring the hot takes tonight. So I'm gonna go with this fucking masterpiece of an album. Number 4.
It was hanging out. I was wondering where you're gonna put it though. Okay.
It's gonna keep going. Honestly, I re-listened to this 3 times this last week, all the way front to back.
Wow.
And I don't know, like Josh said, the nostalgia kind of worked against it for Josh. Like it's his first Metallica album and it fell off. To me, like I fell in love with again because of that nostalgia. So I don't know, maybe it's just because we have that age gap, but I remember when this album came out too. Like I remember you guys having this record. I remember that poster. I remember hearing these songs all the fucking time. So like I'm still not sick of the songs. Until It Sleeps is in my top 10 Metallica songs ever. I think it's one of their best songs lyrically. The video is really weird. Now I'm going to give benefit of the doubt to Metallica fans because I understand if you're with the band since the beginning, you're there for the first 4 records. You might even be there for Black Album. Gets commercial, it gets real big. Your sister starts liking it. She starts playing it in her bedroom and you're like, fuck this. I can't like these guys anymore. So I get it. And I understand when this record came out too, why you're like, and you saw the pictures in here, you saw this and they're like Cuban drug lords.
Yeah, looking real weird.
And you're like, what's going on? And I understand. I mean, even Alice in Chains made fun of them in the Unplugged. Friends don't let friends get friends haircuts. Even they made fun of them. Now, I will go to bat for this fucking record and even Reload, even though I ranked it way lower. People talk about trend chasing. This record doesn't sound like anything else that came out in 96. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. It doesn't sound like any of the grunge bands or later era second wave grunge bands because there's still guitar solos, which weren't happening in 96 and 97. It doesn't sound like Pantera. Pantera was doing their own thing. Pantera sounds totally different. Dime's style of playing and Phil's vocals are totally different than James and Kirk. Now, I will admit, people followed this shit. Megadeth followed the hell out of this. They followed the hell out of Black Album. So I will say that they weren't trend chasing here. They were going for a more alternative thing. I will give you that. But I think it was all more in the look, the album cover, the logo, and the look of the guys, and not in the actual record. There's a damn good hard rock record. I'm not going to sit here and call it thrash. It isn't. There's a damn really good hard rock, heavy metal record here. Honestly, the first 7 tracks, I guess, the first side 1 and side 2 of this LP, Ain't My Bitch Through Bleeding Me. All those songs are fucking awesome. They're all fucking awesome, man. The production on it is excellent. To me, this record sounds as good as Black Album. Like, they fucking nailed it.
I think it's 80% there. The drums aren't isn't the same drum sound, but it does sound really good. I would argue that like I said before when I was talking about it, musically, I'm into most of those songs. Musically, lyrics take me a little sideways. But,
all right, okay, Ain't My Bitch is kind of dumb. I guess it's dumb lyrically. I think it's a ripping song.
Yeah.
2x4 is kind of stupid lyrically, but it's a fucking badass, like Southern rock vibe.
Fucking song. Absolutely.
House and Jack Built, great fucking
Very cool.
lyrics. Until
Very
It
cool.
Sleeps, awesome lyrics. I love King Nothing. Really good lyrics there. Hero of the Day, good lyrics. I like Bleeding Me. Mama Said is a cool track. It's a Southern rock track. I get it. You're listening to Metallica. You're like, what the fuck is this?
That caught me by surprise. Re-listening to that now made me feel weird.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, but it's different, and I don't think that's a trend. Like Southern rock was in '96.
No, it wasn't in. I would say so. While I wouldn't make the comparison to Pantera, because they were the biggest new metal band at the time, like new metal band at the time. Like they were doing #1 records and shit like that, right? I think there's a lot more fucking groove on those 2 records than Metallica ever had before. I'm not saying that Pantera invented groove, but they are very groovy records when you compare it to the priors.
I agree. These records sold more than Pantera records.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. They always will. Absolutely.
And they didn't sell like that because they started sounding like Pantera, which I don't agree with. There is groove in it, but I don't think they went, well, Pantera's doing groove, we got to do groove. I don't think that.
No.
I think Saint Anger, they went, oh, what's fucking Korn doing? What's fucking Disturbed doing? What's Godsmack doing? Well, they'll try to do really bad versions of that. I think that's when they trend chased. I don't think they really ever trend chased until Saint Anger. Mm-hmm. Nothing else that came out that was on rock radio sounded like it. Doesn't sound like fucking, like I get Creed wasn't out yet, but it doesn't sound like fucking Creed, who were the biggest band in the world after this.
A couple years after, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like Alice in Chains, who are basically done by this point, but it doesn't sound like them. It doesn't sound like any of the early Seattle bands. It doesn't sound like fucking Candlebox or any of the later Seattle bands. It doesn't sound like STP. I could keep going. It doesn't sound like Collective Soul. Like I don't know. So I just disagree with that aspect of it.
I think you could. It's a groovy alternative Metallica. That's just the way you can just kind of simply sum it up. Like that's. I'm not saying I'm not saying they cookie cuttered anybody, but I'm just saying that's what it turned into being.
I agree there, but I don't know. Point out the sick fucking guitar solos on any of those bands I just mentioned.
You're right.
There's very little. So I think this was a good melding of those. And honestly, I think the whole record's very solid from top to bottom. It's in my top 5. If there's anything that anybody takes away if they watch this whole episode and get even this far, is revisit Load. Even if you were the diehardest of Metallica fans, if you appreciate just hard rock, revisit Load. There's some good shit to dig into there.
There is.
All right, that's my...
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's definitely a good hard rock album.
Yeah,
if you like hard and heavy music, then you're going to like Load.
I think so. Like, I really do. And I think if you get past the fact like, oh, they're trend chasing, get past the fact that they look like goth weirdos in the cover, in the gatefold, and they're kissing on the red carpet and shit. Just get past all of that and just listen to the album. Like, to me, it's not that far off from fucking Black Album. They just added more of their influences to it. Like, they added some of that country shit to it. Some of that type of stuff.
You and I have joked about this before because we whatever the fuck. But I do think that joke holds true. If you were to take half or a number of fucking Load and a number of Reload songs and you made the one record, I really think that you would have a whole different conversation about where the fuck that record, that combined record ranks in the Metallica discography. Because at that point, it's not 2 left turns. It's like we had this, record come on and they did some little different shit here. And then from here, they fucking went to Saint Anger, which is a wholly different thing. And then you're talking about a completely different narrative of the band.
Sure.
I think I would
agree
drop
with you.
a number of both those songs or both album songs and make them together and put the other ones together as one and make it a 15-song record or whatever the fuck. But
there's only 3 songs I would really take. I'd take Devil's Dance, Memory Remains, and maybe Unforgiven 2 off Reload and put it on Load. And I would have to look at the track listing to figure out what I was even going to take
would
off.
drop off. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know if I'd make it a 15 track because it's already long.
Yeah.
But I'd probably drop 3 and keep it around 12 tracks, but I just don't know what. But
aren't they both like they're both like floating at 14, 15, aren't they?
I think they're both 12.
Are they both 12? Fuck.
I think so, yeah. But honestly, yeah, I think Load top to bottom is a really solid record. There's songs that are better. I agree with Tyler. There's some songs on Reload I would probably swap off, but honestly, you could just get rid of Reload. Like just like right. Josh kind of said it best earlier. Like you can tell it's just songs that they didn't put out because
14 and 13.
Oh, okay. They didn't want to do a double fucking album or whatever. So, or the label.
Even though they did. They did do a double album.
Essentially, yeah.
Load and Reload. That's a double record. We did the same fucking name, has the same fucking cover, like theme and all that shit. Like it's a fucking double record. It's just you didn't want to do it for some reason. You wanted to have 2 different album cycles over it for some reason as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's my controversial choice. That got the conversation going a little bit. Got some eyebrows raised a little bit.
I had to come up with some time because I was waiting for it, but I didn't expect it necessarily because I kind of forgot about it. We were talking about fucking we were talking black around time my Black albums. So I kind of forgot about it for a second, and then came back in. So okay, there you go.
All right, there we go. All right, so we're back around to Josh, and we're going to his number 3.
Number 3, I went with the Black album.
Oh, I did too.
Probably my maybe my favorite album, like front to back, as far as loving every song. Kind of like Tyler said earlier, there's not really a bad song on it.
It's not your number 1.
It's not my number 1.
That's just funny. That's a weird statement to say and not making your number 1, but I agree with you.
Well, I think your number 1 is everyone who loves every song on number 1 too.
True.
Exactly.
I guess, yeah.
Get into that. Just the production obviously is incredible, and it's got all its radio staples, the videos. Remember, Nothing Else Matters video is actually remains one of my favorite music videos and one of my favorite songs.
Absolutely.
As far as
Unforgiven fucking kicks ass too.
Yeah, definitely. Probably My Friend in Misery.
No, that's a cool song. That's a cool song.
Definitely Nothing Else Matters.
Oh wow. Like the ballad.
I love Nothing Else Matters too. I think that song's taken on a whole fucking new fucking life in the last like 5 years. I feel like it's a lot of people's. I think people have covered it because especially with that Blacklist that came out. I think there's like 3 or 4 different versions of Nothing Else Matters on that box set from different artists. And it's actually kind of obviously I'm not in on all those covers. Like there's different shit over the fuck. Yeah. It's just cool to figure out what they thought spoke to them as like the cover song for that project. It's kind of cool. Yeah, all those videos for that record, like that's when Metallica turned on. That's when they became the biggest band in the world. And like we were talking before, when they bought the rights to the fucking movie, I forget what the name of the movie now is.
It's something Western Front, like All Quiet on the Western Front, I think. Or no, it's Johnny Get Your Gun.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So they bought a movie in 88 or 89. They bought a fucking movie. Like that's Metallica shit. That's next level Metallica shit. Things that Metallica only does. No one else fucking does that shit. And they really, that was in 88, 89. But then 91, they fucking turn it up, and all those fucking videos are fucking timeless. They're really fucking cool.
Yeah.
All this, everything just kills. It's awesome. And they flow so well, and the actors or whatever you want to say, everything just fits really, really well. And obviously, we've always, at least from you and Ty and Josh a little bit too, but we've always been alive. We've always known that. That's always been there. But I imagine people from Metallica fandom prior than seeing that record come up, maybe they hated it, but like it must have been a fucking completely weird culture shock to see them go from Metallica to fucking being the biggest band in the fucking world, touring for 4 fucking years nonstop, and they're making these fucking videos and selling out fucking football stadiums.
Yeah, I mean, this album is where they became the biggest band in the world. It's 30 million worldwide sales. This is the 30th anniversary pressing that came out last year. This is the remastered version. It's like, what are you going to do to this record? It sounds fine. It didn't fuck it up, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love this record. It's my number 3 as well. I mean, top to bottom, it's great. Now, again, like I was saying with Load, I understand if you're a kid into thrash and your sister brings this record home, or the football players start listening to this fucking record. You're like, what the fuck is going on? They were my band. I get it why you would hate this record. I understand that. I don't come from that perspective. I'm not that old. Maybe I would feel differently if I was. I don't think so, because I like good music and I like well-produced things. Mostly I like bad produced things too. Sometimes, not saying anger, but I like great art, and this is great art to me. It's 30 million sold, man. Like that I understand sales don't mean everything, but when you sell that many records, something good is going on usually. 100%. And it's the zeitgeist, dude. Like them and Pantera, especially this record. I understand if you want to complain about Load, Reload, how they changed or whatever, but I don't necessarily buy that argument. But them and Pantera, especially on this record, they were flying that flag. They were the biggest metal bands going. So, like, you got to appreciate them for that. And honestly, I think the whole record's really good. If I had to pick a favorite track, I'd probably do Of Wolf and Man. That's probably my favorite track on the album.
Is that in response?
The bass is cool.
Is that in response to everything else being so fucked out? Do you think?
No. Honestly, this whole record's fucked out, Tyler. I've heard this record, I don't know, 100 times probably.
I think that's conservative, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the whole fucking record's played out, but I still appreciate it for what it is. And re-listening to this on Cubase with the high-res files with a good set of headphones, like, it sounds fucking amazing, man. Like,
yeah.
And I understand if you don't want to listen to Enter Sandman again. Like, if you just watch football every Sunday, you hear that song 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So, like, it is what it is. But I still appreciate it for what it is. Came out in 91, year of my birth, so whatever.
Year of our Lord, 91.
Yeah, exactly. So I still absolutely adore it. And, yeah, it's my number 3. So we are getting into the nitty-gritty here. The top 2. We'll go through our number 2s, and then we'll kind of do a rundown of our list, like a recap, and then we'll get into number 1.
I still have a number 3.
Oh, you didn't do your number 3? Oh, because Josh and I had the same ones. I apologize. So, Tyler, what's your number 3?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm just the lead fucking singer here.
Just the lead singer of the fucking band.
All right. So for number 3, it's a little bit different. I'm going with Puppets. So I got the battery brick with Walmart, and then I have an older pressing from way back when's, which is pretty expensive now. I think
is that an Electra, or is it it's like
Electra?
It's okay. So it's not European.
No, it's the Electra.
Gotcha.
Pressing, whatever. But yeah.
Cool.
So this now is like 40 or not more than that. It's like $60 some shit. But
yeah.
I think we paid like $22 or maybe less than that.
It's $60 ruined.
Okay, so even more.
Yeah.
My rainy day fund. So for me, I did okay. So for my money, I also real quick. I just fucked up, but it's fine. I'll go with it. I'll go with this.
What?
Because I did a thing here where I wrote my initial list before the homework, and then I did after, and there was a change.
What was the change? Will you tell us afterwards? Or you want to tell us now?
Sure. I'll tell you after. Well, fuck it. Maybe forget what I just said. Fucking forget what I just said. So for my money, number 3.
Oh, okay. So Puppets is higher. All right.
No, yeah. Okay. I lied to you. Let's be honest. Ride the Lightning. That's what number 3.
What the fuck?
Ride the Lightning. Number 3. So here's the thing is I already know a lot of things happen here. And me and you have talked about this many, many times. Don't boo in the face. So I initially had Ride Higher. I had Ride Higher initially, did the homework, then Ride dropped, and something else came, and whatever, right?
I'm curious to know why.
So I did this. I realized when I listened to Puppets, Puppets is my go-to way more often than Ride ever was. Because when I put on fucking Puppets, I was like, yo, I could tell you numerous fucking times in my car driving around that I put on Puppets during whatever was happening, and I put it on all the fucking time. Ride was not as often. I love Ride the Lightning as well. I love fucking, obviously they have the biggest songs of the catalog nearly on this fucking thing, or some of the biggest songs in the catalog are on this fucking record.
Yeah.
So obviously From Whom the Bell Tolls, it's fucking everywhere at this point. It's in tons of movies and stuff. Fade to Black. I don't know, like, I guess Enter Sandman is obviously the biggest song, like, in the world of Metallica, but, like, Metallica fan thinks Fade to Black is the biggest song, maybe? You think? I don't know. It's up there, right?
Well, maybe.
It's gotta be.
I don't think people hate it. Like, I don't think people have turned on it yet, so maybe.
No, but also, I think that when they play that, I think that's still a huge... To me, I personally thought it was probably the biggest song, Fade to Black, like, live and shit like that, like, for fan stuff.
Yeah.
I think, I just went to it less. That was the way I viewed it. I went to it less. I still love all the songs on here. Favorite song. I have a new favorite song.
Oh,
cool. Wow.
I heard it here first. Exactly. Like, I think I was with Ride the Lightning and I was with fucking From the Bell Tolls, whatever the fuck. Trapped Under Ice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that Lars wrote that song.
Mm.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
So listening to it now, not that I can hear Lars's writing or some shit, I'm like, this is a little bit different. This is a little bit different writing style than what James would write. And I understand that now. It's I guess a complete Lars song, whatever, right?
Mm.
So I like that song a fucking lot because it's just you screaming for fucking help and just you being fucking, you know, unable to do anything. You're in the Trapped Under Ice, you know, whatever. It's fucking awesome. I like that a lot. And then, so that maybe, I guess I could count that my lesser favorite song or like my deeper cut or some shit. For the big, also Escape's fucking cool too. I guess Ride the Lightning. I guess I would say that's my big favorite song or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, Ride the Lightning for me. I just went to it less. Still love the record. It's just the one that I ended up realizing that I did go to it less than the others personally. But there you go.
How do you feel about the album cover? Because I think it's the weakest of the first, like the classic four.
Okay, so I love this album. I'm gonna tell you a story here real quick and whatever. So I actually do love this album cover. I didn't know what it was when I was a kid. Like I truly didn't. I you know, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? All the lightning and shit like that. But I think like as we've gotten older, like it just exists. Like I just accept this. I love the blue. I love the white. I love the color scheme. All that shit's just fucking timeless for me. Album also just I like just the plain Ride the Lightning. I like that. That's cool to me personally.
I've always liked that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lettering down there is very like it's kind of like new wave of British heavy metal. Like,
oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's kind of how a lot of bands did shit back then. So like, you kind of see that. You can kind of see Lars's kind of influence.
Nuwabas.
Yeah.
Nuwaban. So funny story for you about the album cover, because you're obviously about to talk about this in a little bit. But so whenever I see this album cover, I can never really think about anything else besides this. So on the B9 board, way back when, Bridge 9, it was a punk hardcore board back in the day, like 2005, 2006, I was on there. And it was just kids, just fucking little hardcore punk kids just posting fucking like little shit kids, right? Whatever. Anyway, so there was a girl that got on that board, okay? And she apparently was a little freer with herself, let's say.
Cool.
And she would send certain members of that board, exclusive photos of some kind of her body, let's say, right? So
probably wasn't a real girl, by the way, but
no idea. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe somebody knew her too in real life. I have no fucking idea. Whatever. Just I just saw this as an outsider looking in. Like I didn't even comment the threads or anything like that. I didn't have the balls to. I was like 14 or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she sent a picture of her breasts. Okay, and her breasts had veins on them. So someone edited it.
Oh my god!
Someone used her veins, and they did the whole thing with her tit on it. And like, but it looked perfect. Like it was a great Photoshop job. So from that moment until right now today, every time I see Ride the Lightning, I just see a veiny breast that a fucking 17-year-old boy made of a woman that he shouldn't have made. It's horrible, terrible. Don't ever do that. And women forever and all that stuff. But I just see that in my brain and I laugh every time. So there's that.
That's awesome. I've never heard that story before. That's
yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. All right, so we are on to our top 2. So Josh, we are back around to you. What is your number 2? Let's hear it. That's just 2 left.
Master of Puppets.
Okay. All right. Mine too.
I love the album cover of that one.
Oh yeah.
Another one that has every song front to back. The album. One thing we should mention about these older albums, the time. So Master of Puppets is about 55 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And I've heard you guys mention in previous episodes how you appreciate shorter albums.
I mention it all the
You
time.
don't like the long albums.
I mean, 55 minutes. 55 minutes is fucking long for 86. Yeah, because that's really before CDs. You didn't really start getting into that longer shit until CDs.
Yeah.
So 55 minutes is still even long, but it's a short Metallica album, which is funny. But yeah,
I really do enjoy the album, just the way it flows.
Yeah.
Obviously, Master of Puppets, Damage Incorporated, Sanitarium, Disposable Heroes is probably one of my favorite Metallica songs, period.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but on that tip, I just looked at that because I already knew, but I just wanted to like double check on it. So the contemporaries of the time, so Rain and Blood was 35 minutes, but on the flip side, which is really interesting, for Peace Sells, oh wow, never mind. I couldn't even tell you what's true here. Maybe you got to look this up. I only have access to the expanded and deluxe because it's showing me. I'm going to say maybe 45 or maybe 40 minutes.
Well, I can probably just tell you what the actual tracks are on that album. I know that album so well. Just give me 1 second.
So,
Josh, go ahead, Tyler.
I was going to say, so that was the outlier at the time for sure, because the contemporary albums were much, much shorter than that.
Yeah. So, it's showing an hour 31. So, yeah, I'd have to figure out what disc 2 is. Just give me 1 second. So, Josh, what is your favorite song on there? What's your favorite track?
Probably going to go with Orion or Disposable Heroes.
Okay, I can do that. Also, I guess I should bring this up too. Puppets is my number 2 as well. So, I mean,
you have what? Master of Puppets?
Puppets is my number 2 as well. So I'm also in this with you guys. I'm
in it as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we're all here. So Puppets is our number 2. So yeah, I think for me personally, I just went with this record way too fucking much. Like, or not way too much, but a lot. Because when I went and listened to it, it was just every fucking song. I was, oh, yep. Like fucking Battery. Like I fucking listened to that song no less than 1,000 goddamn times in my life because I love that song to death. It is one of my favorite all-time songs. And then also I have a new appreciation personally for after this exercise. Not that I didn't already. Like I already love this song. The thing that should not be, I fucking love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Song's fucking killer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely
that's my deep cut, I think.
Yeah, as much as a deep cut as you can get off fucking Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely a kick-ass song. I'm still trying to find fucking Peace Sells. Like it's hard.
36 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that's
36 12.
I was like, the runtime is not on the LP, the original LP.
Yeah.
I was looking
at it.
Okay, gotcha. No worries. I figured the runtime would be in the goddamn liner notes. But
so it's 25 minutes longer.
That's crazy.
Than the other records of the time.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
the big contemporary ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like they were going, Metallica was going slower before Slayer. Slayer didn't go slow until Seasons. Megadeth really didn't go slow until Countdown. Yeah, honestly. So, Megadeth or Metallica was already exploring the epicness of the genre before those other bands. So, again, another reason why Metallica never really was trend chasers. But yeah, I absolutely love The Thing That Should Not Be as well. That's a cool song. Yeah, definitely another. That song's like H.P. Lovecraft inspired.
Yep.
Inspired with just like Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, I absolutely love Master Puppets. This is the Walmart Battery Brick Red. So cool to have that. Honestly, just a classic fucking album cover. This is my favorite Metallica cover of all time. Colin had a poster of this album. I had it.
Yeah, he actually had a banner. The fabric wasn't like a poster, but it was the fabric.
He had that, and he also had a poster.
Oh yeah, you're right. He did. Never mind.
Yeah,
you're right.
Because it had this, the album cover, and then underneath it had these live shots.
I remember that now.
That's awesome.
So
I never saw that before.
I had that poster. I think you might have, because when he moved, I had that poster, and then I have no idea what the fuck happened to it. And sometimes he'll still text me about that. Where's my Metallica poster? So I absolutely have no idea what the fuck happened to it. Like, it must have got taken down in a rearrange or a move or something. And you know how shit works. But it was a very cool poster. Anyways, I absolutely adore Master Puppet. It is my number 2. Honestly, like the guy said, just top to bottom, it's a great record. My favorite song on here, and I'll tell you why, is Welcome Home Sanitarium. If you are into like true crime, I would suggest, and you haven't seen Paradise Lost, they did 3 movies, Paradise Lost, on HBO. It's all about the West Memphis 3, and they did 3 movies about them. And I'm trying to remember if it's the first or the second one, but it opens up. I think it's the second one, because the second one, they're already in prison. The first one's like about the trial and stuff. And the second one opens up with like an aerial shot over Arkansas, and it's Welcome Home is playing. And they like get in, and then they show Damien in prison. And it obviously, that song, Welcome Home Sanitarium, it very fits that. So that, ever since I saw that, it very much stuck with me. And another tidbit about those movies, the guys who directed those movies directed Some Kind of Monster. So
wow,
comes full circle. And that the first movie, that was the first time Metallica ever allowed any of their stuff to be used in anything.
It's fair.
In any TV,
that is still
or
pretty
movie
rare.
Well, now it happens way more than what it used to.
It does, but it's still pretty. Like I mean, I might not know all of them, but I know of a handful, and we're 40 years deep here. So like they still kind of don't really hand it out willy nilly at this point.
No,
like
they don't, compared to some other bands. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But they haven't sold off, so that's another
fair.
reason too. So but like Josh said, Disposable Heroes is a great song. To me, this is like classic Metallica, and I'll talk about this as my number 1. You get songs about war, you get songs about like suicide and depression, you get songs about drugs. It kind of runs the gamut of lyrical stuff, and I think this is where James was at his best lyrically. Like these first 4 records, honestly, and then the later records kind of become less about the lyrics, to me anyway.
I always thought, so with the lyrics of Master Puppets, like I always thought, or I was always under the impression, I don't know how I got this narrative, but I've looked it up numerous times and nothing has ever verified it for me. I always thought the Master Puppets was about James fucking around with heroin, but I've never actually had that validated by anything. But I don't know how that came into my narrative in my brain, but I've looked it up numerous times.
I think it's about drug addiction, like heroin. But I think James, I don't think he's ever done heroin. I think it's just that I think he said that, and he might be lying, but whatever. But I think it's about more of just how, like, just drugs in general, like that stuff.
Because I know the story that he told when somebody asked him about it was like, I went to a party and just saw everybody strung out, shooting up, and they were strung out. And then I saw girls getting sick and they were fucked and like whatever. Like it was just a really bad scene. He wrote about that, and that's what he wrote the song about. For some reason, I always thought it was a like autobiographical thing, but like I said, I've never gotten anything to back that up, so it's probably not true. But yeah, the lyrics on those songs, like that's not really what a lot of Kill 'Em All was about, obviously. Ride the Lightning gets on some of that, I guess, a little bit more serious. And then, Master Puppets, I think that's when they start, making that plunge into more serious topics like that.
Oh, Ride the Lightning has many serious topics.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm saying, they expand upon it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, there's not a bad track on there. Orion, great instrumental.
Orion?
The best. Honestly, with Orion, one of the best. Fucking honestly, it's just a fucking massive album. It deserves it. It's still a great record. I still put it on and enjoy it today. It's Cliff's last record with the band too. So,
Right.
Everybody always says that. What could have been? Why couldn't it have been Lars? Everybody always says that. So like it is what it is. Like it'd be interesting to see what that would have happened to that band if Cliff would have stayed in the band. Everybody always says, "Oh, they never would have changed." But nobody fucking truly knows that. But
yeah, Ty and I were talking that last weekend about that, Josh. We had not heard the story before, but Scott Ian said that they were actually going to fire Lars after that tour, but Cliff died, so obviously they were not going to fire Lars at that point. So if Cliff didn't die on that tour, odds are possibly that Lars would have gotten fired, and that would have been the turn of the whole band at that point, which is a really interesting timeline to think about.
History is totally different as far as that band and music history in general. So
100%.
Alrighty, guys, let's do a quick. We are at our number ones. So let's do a quick rundown of our list. So Josh, if you just want to go through 10 through 2, just to remind us where you were at.
Sure. At Saint Anger, number 10. We all agreed with that one.
Yeah.
Reload, number 9. Number 8, Death Magnetic. Number 7 was Load. Number 6 was Hardwired. Number 5 was Kill 'Em All. Number 4 was Justice. Number 3 was the Black Album. And then number 2 is Puppets.
There you go. Tyler, how about you?
All right. So I did, I had Saint Anger, Reload, Load, Death Magnetic, Hardwired, Kill 'Em All, Black Album, Ride the Lightning, Puppets. And then I have my number 1.
Alrighty, I did Saint Anger, like everybody. Reload, Death Magnetic, Hardwired, Kill 'Em All, Justice for All, Load at number 4, which raised some eyebrows, but I'll go to bat for it. Let's do it. Black Album at number 3, Master of Puppets at number 2. So here we go, Josh. You and I have the same number 1, and that's Ride the Lightning. So you go ahead and kick it off.
Ride the Lightning is just a piece, in my opinion. Sound like a broken record, but another one I love every song front to back. The album front to back. Definitely no skippers on this one. I just love the way the first song, the way the album starts out kind of soft with the guitar, and then it gets loud and heavy and fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say like your favorite track on there is?
Honestly, I love them all. Maybe if I had to choose one. If I had to choose one, Fade to Black.
Okay.
Like Fade to Black might be Fade to Black is one of my favorite songs, period.
I would agree. Yeah. Fade to Black to me is one of the best written songs ever. Like even outside of just metal. I think Fade to Black's a masterpiece. The fucking build, and then it hits in the solo. And then it just, it's weird because the song's about one of the darkest things ever, suicide. Right. But like it's such a fucking epic song. Like by the end, it's almost redemptive. Really weird, like with that solo, like it's almost like a kind of a redemption song to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I echo those statements front to back. It's a great song, or great album. Fight Fire with Fire, great opener. Ride the Lightning, still great. For Whom the Bell Tolls is fucking awesome. Fade to Black, I just said what I said. Then Side 2 is great too. Trapped Under Ice, like Tyler said, is a kick-ass song. Escape is a cool song. Creeping Death is also one of my favorite Metallica songs. I absolutely love Creeping Death. And The Call of Cthulhu ends it, which is
another great.
Another great instrumental. It's a fucking awesome fucking song. And like I said before, you get into the different lyrical elements of Metallica here. Kill 'Em All didn't really do any of that, and I think that's why Kill 'Em All ranks so low for me too. It's like to me, this is the best second album of all time. I would probably put that on my list. Maybe that's a topic for the show one day. Sophomore albums. But to me, this would definitely be in there. I maybe wouldn't be my top of ones after I did the research, but off the top of my head, it is. Like you get the growth. It's just the maturation of this band from Kill 'Em All to this is just amazing.
It's a year. It's
yeah,
1 year.
Exactly. It's fucking astounding. And
They also had at the tail end of the Kill 'Em All tours, they had a good chunk of that record be done, and they were playing it. It's insane.
It's crazy. And usually, like everybody says, you get your whole life to write that first record. That's why most bands, their first record's usually one of their best. But to me, like, this trounces Kill 'Em All in absolutely every fucking way. You get songs about war, you get songs about suicide and depression, you get religious themes on Creeping Death, which Metallica doesn't explore a lot as far as I'm aware. But yeah, and then you get like Call of Cthulhu as well, which is an instrumental, but that's obviously exploring on Lovecraft again, or first, like they did on Puppets too. So just a fucking great song. Fight Fire with Fire about nuclear war. So
hell yeah,
they did it before Mega Dave. I'll give them that, I guess. So yeah, so that's my number one. Tyler, we all know you're number one. Go to bat for it. I had it ranked number 5. Tyler, I had it ranked 5, and Josh had it ranked, I think, 4. So you got to defend it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that. Hold up. So I actually think, yeah, I do. So I knew my copy was missing it's missing a sleeve. So when I bought it, I just have the one sleeve. So basically, the only reason I like Justice so much is that picture is just so fucking cool. It looks
just
awesome.
The picture. That's it.
It's just the picture. That's the first reference to like all the sunglasses pictures and shit. So like that's pretty cool. That's my reasoning for what's number 1. There we go. No. So yeah. Good night. No, I fucking love Justice so much. So I'm a big riff dude, and I also fucking just apply that. I've told you this a million times. I apply to wrestling themes so fucking much with this record. So damn near every fucking song in this record, I have no idea why dudes didn't fucking use this as wrestling themes in the 90s or late 80s, whatever, right? But like, I have no fucking idea why that didn't happen. So basically, Harvester of Sorrow, one of the fucking coolest fucking riffs ever. The dropout and then it fucking clicks back in. They fucking yes, it's so fucking cool. I love it so much. Blackened, like the fucking the lead in, the fucking is so cool. I love everything about that intro into Blackened and everything else. And then there's just so much instrumentation. Yes, it is lengthy. Okay. Yes, it is lengthy. Yes, maybe they could have cut a little here and there. Maybe they could have. Okay. I'm not saying, they couldn't have, but it's so fucking cool. Listen, Blackened, Justice, Eye of the Beholder, 1, Shortest Straw, fucking one of the coolest fucking guitars fucking solos fucking ever. Fucking love that song. Harvester, again, awesome. Freight Ends Insanity, also very, very cool. Flip as a Die, and it fucking closes with Dyer's Eve. Give me a fucking break, bro. It is one of the best, if not the best, fucking metal records of all time. It is the best Metallica record, and they will never top it. Probably. Maybe 70 Seasons will be better. Who knows? But yeah, I just apply it. Just the riffs on that record just sound so fucking awesome and so long. It kind of a little bit, not obviously no one saw a Black Album happening. It gave you the tiniest little fucking glimpse of Black Album with that sound. I do disagree obviously with the production and I don't know why you'd fucking self-sabotage and fuck yourself over and not utilize one of the, I'm not saying fucking Newstead was an amazing bassist, but he's one of the fucking focal points of the 4-man fucking band here. Give him the fucking due. Also, if you would have known later on what happened and the fact that he used this against you to fucking leave the band fucking 14 years later, maybe you wouldn't have fucking done it.
Maybe.
Idiots. But I love everything about this cover. Everything is cool.
My thing about that record is like I think of what could have been. So like if you trim a little bit and you produce it correctly and you mix it a little better and you keep Jason in the album, like what could have been. So that's why I keep it a little lower. But yeah, what's your favorite song on there? You might have said. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna do "Harvester of Sorrow" is my favorite song on the record. Lesser favorite, "Dyer's Eve."
Okay,
I guess that's lesser, but yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Or not lesser favorite, but less deeper cut favorite, whatever.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I get my load choice as a controversial hot take, but like the first 5 records, like you're just kind of ranking those 5 against each other for the top 5, and you don't really have a wrong choice. So I appreciate load more than everybody else here on the panel tonight, but I get it. But anyways, guys,
I think you can see the view. I'm sorry. I think you can see the view for all top 5. If somebody has an opinion that Black Album is the best Metallica record, I can see how you're saying that. I don't think that you're wrong. I see you have an opinion, and you could have an avenue to go down where you can actually justify that. I have no problem with that. I would disagree, obviously. All of us would disagree, I guess. But okay, that's fine. That's fine that you went there. You're not wrong. It is what it is. There you go.
Yeah, I understand it. I could see the argument for any of those first 5 records. Honestly, like if those are your favorite, I get it. So anyways, guys, that is our Metallica rankings. Leave your comments down below if you made it this far. What is your Metallica ranking? Like and subscribe. We got more coming at you every single week. Every Monday this drops. We got vinyl hauls every Friday, and then we got surprise videos in between. So at the end of every episode, we choose the topic. So Tyler,
I got one.
You got your topic. Great. So that worked out then.
Okay. So for next week, Ty and I are going to do top 5 lyricists of all time personal favorite lyricists.
Shit. This is good. I can finally bring up a band that I haven't been able to mention that I've wanted to talk about every episode that just never fit in. And Tyler knows the band instantly, probably.
Love it. I love it.
Anyways, guys, so that is the topic for next week. I want to thank Josh for joining us. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it was fun having you on for the conversation. So always down to talk some Metallica. So just remember that Metallica loves you, and so do we. And we will see you next time on the Living Deadwax podcast. Peace.
Love it.